Hi gentle people. So a couple of months ago I asked God a question, and you're not going to believe how he answered. Things were just going wrong for me. Like every single thing that could go wrong was going wrong. I was so frustrated one night and I said to God, God, why is it that it seems like the devil is just working overtime? I'm just like I can't win. Like every time I turn around is something. What is it? Guys, God used a movie to answer my question. Now, he does that for me all the time, guys. Like he talks to me how I can understand. So he will use movie references, he'll use songs, like I love spy movies. So he'll use clues. Once he used a dot on the floor, like on a mat, that nobody else could see but me. And it was like really tiny. I don't know how I saw it. And then when I looked closer, there was a message in it for me. And he does that. He talks to me in such cool ways, yeah? So when I asked the question, what he did was he brought up, because I see things like that, guys. So like I'll have visions and stuff, and then sometimes he's showing me stuff and I can see it like playing out right in front of me. So like he brought up Infinity Wars to me, and I saw Doctor Strange sitting, and his head was just going fast, from left to right, and he was trying to figure out a way that the Avengers could win the war against Thanos. And he looked at like thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of ways in which they could win the war, and he could only find one way, right? And so, when I said to God, why are you showing me this? He said to me that the devil is like that. The devil is always looking for a way in which he can win the war. He knows he's already lost, but he's going to try. And he says what he has done, he has looked at every possible outcome and finds that he can't win the war. So what he's doing is he's trying to change the outcome by doing the most. So if he can get somebody to lose faith, if he can get somebody to lose hope, let somebody believe that life is not worth living, like there's no way out, like let somebody feel anxious, depressed, if he can entice somebody to turn away from God and turn to the world, if he can cause somebody to denounce God in some kind of way, yeah, that's what he does, because he feels like if he changes something over here, it will change the outcome. The devil doesn't need to go after people who already belongs to him. He doesn't have to try with them because they're already his. So you're doing something right if he's constantly in your skin about something, or is constantly coming after you, right? So yeah, I thought the answer was really cool, and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I can see it. And then like a few days later, I was back in the dumps. I was, things were not going right again, and I was like, God, what is this? Why does it seem like every time I progress, like I'm being pushed back? Why is it every time I take one step forward, I'm taking 10 steps back? And he didn't speak to me this time. Instead, when I fell asleep, right, I found myself in a video game. That's right, in a video game. And it's so crazy, guys, because I don't play video games, right? The only video game I play is what's the name of that game? Animal Crossing. And if I have to catch fish, it is stress. Fighting and doing all this kind of stuff, movements and jumping and parachuting and paragliding and all that kind of stuff, I can't do, right? So my game is just calm. I just sit and watch TV, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I found myself in a video game, so I am a character in a game. But then the cool thing is that I'm outside the game watching myself inside the game. And it was crazy because the object of this game was to roll a stone, a huge boulder, up a hill, right? So I am pushing the boulder, guys, and I take 2 steps forward and the stone rolls back and I have to start over. and I go a little further, the stone rolls back and I have to, go back to the beginning and start all over. And not only do I have to push the stone up the hill, I have to use the stone to clear the path. So like I have to be, mowing down trees. I have to also be like breaking smaller rocks. Sometimes I'd get as far as to the middle, like halfway up the mountain, and the stone would roll back. And the little me inside the game was just like running back to the beginning and starting all over again. But the me outside the game, oh my God, I was having a fit. I was like, oh my goodness, what? Not again! Like I was a spectator at like a baseball game or something, I don't know, or a basketball game. I was just going crazy. And guys, like the stone kept rolling down the hill. And then once I got it almost to the top, and just when I was about to push it over, it rolled back down the hill. And I was outside the game going crazy. But the me inside the game was just so chill. I just ran back to start, and I was going again. And the stone rolled down so many times after that, yeah? But I just kept doing it. And finally, I got the stone up to the edge and pushed it over. As soon as I did that, the me inside the game started doing a little dance, and the me outside the game was just jumping up and down and doing the most. And then I get shoved from behind, right? And when I turned around, it was the devil. Yeah, you heard me right, the devil. Now, I've seen him in several dreams. For those of you who already read my books, you know that. But yeah, I was mad. And we just went at each other, started fighting. And, I can't really fight, but I got some good blows in. But the thing that, that's not surprising is that he kept disappearing and reappearing as somebody else, right? Because that's what he does. He's deceptive and he can disguise himself. At one point, he came as a little boy. And I thought, like, seriously, you think that's gonna stop me? Like, I know it's you. And I hit him in the face, right? And then he changed back into himself. And we were just going at it. And, I was just freaking out because I didn't know where he would come from. Like, he was just appearing and then disappearing and appearing and disappearing. And I was going like crazy. Until one at a time he reappeared, guys. And I grabbed him and pushed him down, right? And sat in his stomach. And when I looked, he had on a mask. So I went to yank the mask off, and there was another mask under that mask. And not only that, I realized I wasn't sitting on any flesh and blood. I was actually sitting on a dummy. Like one of those dummies that they use in movies that, that they throw off a building or something. Yeah, so under that mask was another mask, and he was nowhere. And I woke up and I was so upset. Normally, whenever I dream stuff, I don't go to Google. The only thing I'll go to Google for is like if I get a dream and God speaks to me in another language. So I'll go to Google for that. But like dream interpretation of dreams and what dreams mean, I do not go to Google, I go to God, right? So I was talking to God and I was like, what was that? He didn't answer me right away. Yeah, but a couple days later I was talking to him again, and then he explained to me that the me inside the game was my spirit and the me outside the game was my flesh. Now the spirit knows what it ought to do, right? And it is willing to do it, but the flesh is weak. And this is the thing, guys, the flesh is always at war with the spirit. I remember when Jesus was in the garden with the disciples and he said, stay up with me. And they were falling asleep. And he said, the flesh and the spirit are always at war. He said, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is basically weak. And that is what God was trying to show me. Sure, life is going to throw stuff at you because the devil is always doing the most. But then again, it's how I handle myself. You understand? It is how I handle trials and adversities. Do I crumble under the pressure of it? Do I complain? Do I cry? Do I get depressed? Do I want to give up? Or do I keep going? Because my spirit knows that I need to endure. My spirit knows that if I just keep running the race that is set before me, that I will be triumphant. Yeah? The spirit knows that. But then the flesh gets in the way. We have two things against us. So we have the devil, our adversary, who is like a roaring lion seeking whom he can devour and destroy. And then we have our flesh, also our enemy, right? Pulling us back and keeping us from pushing forward to our purpose. So guys, I just want to encourage you, do not let the flesh win out over the spirit. Yeah, just keep pushing forward, because no matter what trials and what temptations we go through, right, we just have to endure until the end, right? So just keep pushing forward, guys, to that finish line. Thanks for sticking with me to the end, guys. If you like this kind of stuff, if if this is encouraging to you, if you can relate to this material, then subscribe. What do you have to lose? Yeah, like, comment, share. So until next time, guys.